APESI, c'est la organisation des parents d'élèves de la section internationale à la cité scolaire internationale à Lyon. And APESI co-organize this week with the CAP in Paris. The CAP is the Association des professionnels italiens en France. The agenda for today, you will see on the screen. We will have an introduction and a welcome, a presentation of the Italian university system, and then we will have 3 universities share their program to the audience, to the students. We will have Bocconi, Milano, Università di Bologna, and Università di Trento. Please switch your camera off, put your microphone on mute, and pay attention to this presentation. So without to add anything more, let's kick off the event. I like to introduce Anna Pastore, the director of the Italian Institute of Culture in Lyon. Welcome, Anna. Over to you.
Thank you. Grazie. Merci. E buonasera ai nostri partecipanti di questa sera dall'Istituto Italiano di Cultura di Lione. Permettetemi un breve saluto nelle nostre 2 lingue, italiana e francese. E cominciamo con l'italiano, sarà molto breve. L'anno scorso, a marzo 2019, abbiamo inaugurato qui a Lione questi appuntamenti destinati a orientare gli studenti del liceo rispetto alla continuazione dei loro studi in Italia. Tra le missioni, objectif di un istituto italiano di cultura vi è proprio l'internazionalizzazione del sistema universitario italiano e i corsi, i servizi, la biblioteca degli istituti italiani di cultura, in Francia, a Marseille, a Marsiglia, a Strasburgo, a Parigi e a Lione, sono a disposizione per consultazioni, prestiti, per seguire corsi, atelier, documentarsi, preparare certificati e certificazioni della lingua italiana. Siamo tutti molto fieri dei nostri studi universitari in Italia, personalmente a Venezia. Tutte le università, comprese quelle di questa sera, Bocconi, Bologna, Trento, Bocconi Milano, Bologna e Trento, sono per noi eccellenti. E questo per la qualità dei loro piani e offerte di studio, naturalmente, ma anche per quello che viene prima e dopo le lezioni, circondati da un ambiente e da una qualità di vita del tutto unici ed eccellenti, questi sì. Bonsoir à tous, merci d'être ce soir ici pour suivre la présentation des 3 universités prestigieuses comme l'Université d'État de Trento, l'Université d'État de Bologna et l'Université privée Bocconi Milano. L'année dernière, nous avons inauguré à Lyon ce rendez-vous pour orienter les lycéens souhaitant continuer leur formation en Italie. L'internationalisation du système universitaire italien est parmi les missions d'un institut culturel italien. La bibliothèque, les cours et les services des instituts culturels italiens, que ce soit Marseille, Strasbourg, Paris ou Lyon, sont à disposition pour consulter, documenter, emprunter un film, se préparer, obtenir une certification de langue italienne, fréquenter un cours ou un atelier en vue d'une formation universitaire en Italie. Je termine en vous avouant que nous sommes tous très orgueilleux de nos études faites auprès des facultés italiennes. À nos yeux, elles sont toutes excellentes pour la qualité de leurs projets et filières d'études, aussi bien ou surtout pour tout ce qui arrive avant et après les cours, entourés d'un cadre de vie absolument unique. Bonne soirée. Good evening. See you soon.
Thank you, Anna. And let's move to the next item in the agenda. So the presentation of the Italian university system. I'm more than happy to introduce Giovanna Deon. school principal of the Italian consulate in Lyon. Giovanna, over to you.
Thank you. Oh, on me dit que c'est pas possible. Attendez. Ah, voilà, oui. Bon, alors, attendez, parce que, bon, voilà, on y arrive. Hein. Pardon. Voilà. Excusez-moi, mais justement, allez. J'espère qu'on y est. Hein. Présentation. Et pourquoi il ne me commence pas? Excusez-moi. Bon.
Double clic.
D'accord, excusez-moi, il y avait un petit problème de démarrage. Bon, alors bonsoir à tous. Moi, je vais finalement répéter un petit peu ce que je dis hier. Je m'excuse s'il y a quelqu'un qui a déjà écouté. Bon, mais évidemment, là, l'information, on essaye de la faire arriver un petit peu à tous, mais c'est vraiment une synthèse très vraiment, je sais pas, c'est pas vraiment quelque chose d'approfondi ou d'exhaustif, mais en fait, ce qui nous intéresse, c'est de donner quelques clés de lecture, hein, voilà, aux étudiants pour qu'ils puissent s'orienter un petit peu, même dans le lexique, les langages qui a utilisé, qui caractérisent les systèmes universitaires italiens. Donc, on commence avec quelques mots clés. Hein. Donc, l'édifice, l'université, donc l'établissement, en italien a deux mots qui le désignent, Università, comme donc très semblable au français, et Ateneo. Hein. C'est un mot un peu plus difficile, mais très utilisé. Donc, Università, Ateneo, c'est pour université. À l'intérieur des universités, de l'università, il y a les facoltà. Là aussi, c'est comme en français, pas très différent. Faculté, facoltà, une section d'université dans laquelle on enseigne un seul domaine d'expertise. Facoltà di lettere, di scienze, etc. Après, il y a, bon, si vous regardez sur les sites des universités, vous trouvez il corso di laurea triennale. C'est peut-être ce qui vous intéresse le plus en ce moment. Donc, il corso di laurea triennale, ça correspond à votre licence. En français, le mot est licence. En italien, c'est triennale. Normalement, les étudiants disent la triennale. Hein, c'est le premier niveau. Après, il y a il corso di laurea magistrale. La magistrale, on l'appelle. Vous, en français, et même en anglais, vous l'appelez master. Faites attention parce qu'en italien, le master, le mot master existe dans l'offre formative des universités, mais on verra après, il indique quelque chose de différent. Donc, la laurea magistrale, c'est ce qui correspond à votre master en France. La durée, c'est l'anno accademico. AA, normalement, on trouve les deux A majuscules qui désignent la durée de l'année universitaire. Donc, les conditions d'accès. Il faut, comme en France, un diplôme d'études minimum 12 ans, de scolarisation, donc un bac. Faites attention parce que le bac français est normalement, je dis normalement parce que déjà hier on a vu qu'il y a quelques exceptions, mais normalement le bac obtenu dans une institution française a besoin d'être accompagné d'une déclaration de valeur. Ce n'est rien de particulier, c'est quelque chose qui vous est délivré par votre consulat, donc n'ayez aucun problème à les demander, mais sachez que normalement, la déclaration de valeur accompagne les baccalauréats, même si vous êtes dans une section internationale italienne, parce que c'est un bac français que vous avez. Par contre, si vous avez un Esabac qui a un double diplôme, italien-français, même niveau, là, vous accédez directement à l'université italienne, comme avec un diplôme italien. Donc, disons, là aussi, il y a, après, ça dépend même des universités. Il faut toujours contrôler sur les sites des universités les documents demandés, mais en général, c'est ça. La structure, comme je vous disais déjà, comme en Italie, donc vous savez, c'est un peu une idée européenne, celle-là. Donc, 3 plus 2, diploma di laurea, 3 ans, ça correspond à la licence. Laurea magistrale, 2 ans, ça correspond au master. Naturellement, après, il y a aussi les doctorats, etc. Mais ça vient après, hein, c'est quelque chose, je pense que pour vous, c'est plus intéressant en ces moments. La structure base, hein, 3 plus 2. Sachez qu'en Italie, il y a des exceptions à ça. Il y a des parcours cycles uniques. Une fois que vous vous inscrivez à la première année, vous ne faites pas 3 plus 2, mais un seul cycle. Médecine, odontoiatrie, vétérinaire, vous étudiez 6 ans. Pharmacie, droit, architecture et formation primaire pour devenir prof d'école, 5 ans. C'est vrai que hier, on a vu qu'architecture, dans certaines universités, par exemple à Milan, est divisée en 2, mais c'est vraiment une exception. Normalement, architecture, c'est 5 ans, tous ensemble. Donc, pas de division en 2 cycles, et donc, ça amène directement à la laurea magistrale. Comme je vous disais, il y a le master dans les offres formatives des universités. Si vous regardez sur les sites, il y a le master, mais ça ne correspond pas exactement au master en France. Les masters en italien, dans le système italien, master, on retire l'accent, c'est un cours de spécialisation qui peut être qui dure un an et qui peut être ou un master premier niveau, dopo la laurea triennale, ou bien master deuxième niveau, dopo la laurea magistrale. C'est, disons, pour se spécialiser. Voilà, mais ça n'a rien à voir avec le master comme vous l'entendez en France, c'est-à-dire avec la laurea magistrale. Hein? Donc, ça, c'est intéressant parce que les modalités d'accès, je sais qu'en France, pour ceux qui fréquentent en ces moments les lycées français, et je pense que c'est la majorité d'entre vous, vous avez une plateforme, hein, Parcoursup. Là, vous suivez la plateforme, vous faites votre dossier, vous les soumettez aux universités qui vous intéressent. En Italie, ça n'existe pas, la plateforme unique. D'accord? En Italie, il y a les différentes universités qui gèrent les inscriptions, les accès aux cours. Donc, vous vous rendez directement sur les sites des universités et vous trouverez qu'il y a des cours à accès libre, sans condition. Là, vous finissez, vous obtenez votre bac et après, entre juillet et octobre en général, vous vous inscrivez et vous commencez, sans condition. Après, il y a les cours à accès limité, un certain nombre de places, et donc l'université fait des tests d'admission. Si vous obtenez les bons scores, vous êtes admis, et sinon, il faut le refaire ou les faire dans une autre, essayer dans une autre université. Et après, il y a les cours avec admission nationale, examen national. Là, c'est réglé par le ministère. Par exemple, hein, l'exemple le plus éclatant, normalement, c'est médecine ou vétérinaire, c'est la même chose. Il y a un test national, 60 questions. Vous avez là les différents sujets, vous voyez. Une date qui est unique. Cette année, c'était le 3 septembre. Donc, on peut le faire seulement une fois dans une seule université que vous choisissez normalement. Les classements est national. Et donc, vous êtes admis sur la base du score que vous obtenez dans le classement national. Et donc, pas nécessairement dans l'université qui est votre premier choix ou votre deuxième choix. Peut-être aussi que vous êtes admis dans l'université de votre dernier choix. Vous pouvez choisir jusqu'à 60 universités différentes, athénées diverses. Donc, vous voyez que c'est un peu compliqué les mécanismes, mais c'est un mécanisme uniquement national. Hein. Il faut toujours, voilà, bien tenir présent là le mot bando, qui même les universités vous répéteront après, parce que les bandos, c'est quelque chose, c'est les règlements, et pour ce qui concerne la médecine, par exemple, les facultés admission nationale, ils sont publiés chaque année sur les sites en juin, fin mai, début juin, sur les sites du ministère de l'Éducation nationale. Unique pour tous, italiens, communautaires, extra-communautaires, même règles. Hein. Après l'admission, on fait avec les différentes universités toute la procédure pour l'inscription, mais les tests d'admission est unique. Par contre, il y a aussi d'autres admissions par examen national dont les ministères choisissent la date, la typologie, etc. Mais après, ce sont les différentes universités qui gèrent. Par exemple, si vous voulez devenir, je ne sais pas, kinésithérapeute, hein, comme on m'est déjà arrivé là la question, donc vous choisissez cette année une seule date dans toute l'Italie, dans tous les territoires nationaux, mais vous choisissez l'université où vous voulez essayer. Et donc là, vous regardez sur les bandes de votre université, sur l'université de votre choix, et vous vous inscrivez et vous les soutenez là où vous vous êtes inscrit. Donc, il y a quelques différences, voilà, entre les tests à admission par examen national. L'opportunité intéressante, c'est celle des doubles cursus, c'est-à-dire là, moi je parle naturellement Italie et France, mais il y a même des doubles cursus entre Italie et Allemagne, Italie et Grèce, je sais pas. En tout cas, ce sont des conventions entre les deux pays qui permettent d'avoir soit la licence pour ce qui concerne la France, que la laurea, il diplôme di laurea pour ce qui concerne l'Italie. Sur les sites de l'Institut français, il y a toute la liste complète. Moi, je termine en vous conseillant les deux sites fondamentaux, les sites du MIUR, hein, Ministero, Università, Istruzione, Università et Ricerca, hein, là où vous trouvez les bandi et les règlements, et les sites des Universitarie. Voilà, je vous fais voir aussi, là c'est en italien, mais il y a même la version en anglais, où vous pouvez trouver toutes les indications et même pour l'inscription aux tests nationaux, là, c'est le site que vous devez toujours contrôler. Merci, grazie. Tous les bureaux scolaires des consulats d'Italie, à Lyon, à Paris, à Metz et à Nice, sont à votre disposition s'il y a naturellement des questions dont vous cherchez la réponse. Merci.
Grazie Giovanna. Merci. Thank you for this very instructive presentation. So let's move through the agenda to the next speaker. I like to introduce Mario Tabarini, the speaker for the University Bocconi from Milan. Mario, over to you.
Thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you for the introduction. Share my screen now.
And yeah, please, have you noticed that there is a chat? I see different people already using that. You can use this chat to ask the question to the previous presenter and as well to, if possible, to the people which are presenting at the moment, and they will answer anytime possible. So, Mario, again, over to you.
Thank you. Grazie. So, bonsoir, buonasera, good evening. My name is Mario Tabarini. I'm in charge of the guidance and recruitment activities at Bocconi University, a private university located in Milan, north of Italy. I would like to start with some history. Our university it's quite recent for Italian standards. Tonight we have also Bologna, who is one of the oldest in the world. It's 1902, but it was the first university granting a degree in economics. And for many years, it's been the only one. So Bocconi has always been focusing on social sciences. It's not a comprehensive university. We don't offer all the degrees. And we are very much international. We started the exchange programs in 1974. To give you an idea, the Erasmus program was born in 1987. So we're already doing this type of mobility of students with partner universities all over the world. And we started the first bachelor program in English in 2001. We are a private university, non-profit, and we are very much independent. I I will start with positioning of Bocconi. So if you look at the most relevant international rankings, we put some of them here, the Financial Times and QS. We are basically placed among the top 5, I would say, in Europe and top 20 in the world in the fields of sciences, business, management, politics and law, economics. And we are basically, if you don't, you know, I'm not a fan of Brexit, but if you count Europe without UK, in many of these rankings, we are in the first 2 or 3 places. We are also a very well-renowned research university. For example, the European research grants, which are the grants given by the European Commission every year. We received many of them. We receive many of them every year, and we were, if we count 2019, we were 3rd in our areas, economics, management, finance, in terms of grants received. So also for research, it's a very well-renowned university, not only I would say in Italy or in Europe, but worldwide. We are a mid-sized university, around 15,000 students. We have a population of 5,000 international students, of which roughly 3,000 are international students degree seekers, so the students who take the full degree at Bocconi, and 2,000 are exchange students or double degree students who come within the agreements that we have all over the world. In the classes taught in English, which are the majority of our university, 41% of students are non-Italian, are international. We have 100+ nationalities on campus, and our students go abroad very often, I would say. Every year we have 4,000 students, let's say 2,000 for study options abroad and 2,000 for work abroad options within their academic career. We have a very strong international network. You remember I told that internationality is one of our strengths. And we have 282 partner schools in 54 countries all over the world. We have basically quantity, so lots of opportunity, around 2,000 every year, as I mentioned, but quality also. So in each continent, we basically have the top schools, whatever ranking you are taking into consideration, we have the top schools as partners. For example, we have the Ivy League schools in the United States. I don't know, in France, we have exchanges and double degrees with HSC, with FO, with the Politecnico, and so on. These are our partnerships all over the world. We are also very strong when it comes to the relations with the business community. Bocconi was founded by an entrepreneur, a businessman. The owner of the Magazzini Bocconi, who used to be, nowadays is the current Rinascente, the big department store in Milano and in Rome. At that time, he was the founder of that, and he decided to put money on education by teaching how to run a business. So we're very connected with the business community. The Lombardy region is the richest region of Italy, with lots of companies and also international companies having their branches in our region. And Milan is the business capital of Italy. So every day in our campus, something happens with companies. So we have some numbers here. We have our career fairs. We have over nearly 11,000 internship job offers every year. So basically, our students receive more options for internship or for a placement. Each of them receive more than one option. These are some top employers, so all the top consultants. Investment banks, or the most important names. The placement, of course, we take into consideration the placement of our students at the master level, as it happens in almost every university. I would say in Europe, the students do the bachelor and then go on with the master. So regarding our bachelor, we have over 95% of the students who go on and do the master. So we don't have figures of placement. We have them, but they are not that much relevant. When it comes to the master, 95.7% of students are employed 1 year after graduation. And basically a third work abroad, 2/3 in Italy. And this is a very good placement. If you look at the Financial Times rankings for master programs, this indicator, 95%, is #1 in our master in management in that ranking. We have an undergraduate schools, and these are our bachelor programs. So So we have the majority of programs in English, and then we have some programs with the Italian version. That is the idea. We do love very much the Italian language, and of course, if you come to Italy, you have to speak some Italian. It's in order to live a full and satisfactory experience. Nonetheless, we moved the offer more to English in order to be more attractive for the international audience. So we have a management program, economics and management, a finance program, very much dedicated to finance, another management program which is focused on a very specific area, which is art, culture, and communication. So how to run museums, how to work in the fashion industry, and so on and so forth. So very, very Milanese, I would say, or Italian. Scope. International politics and government. Bocconi started in 2015 doing international politics and government. In this program, we have a mandatory exchange program. For example, for all the other programs recommended, for this program is mandatory. And it's a very nice program as well, very much done at the Bocconi way. So embedded international experience, a quantitative approach for public policy. So very, very, very interesting. We have an economic and social sciences program. This is very pure economics, I would say. And then two more, let's say, quantitative, more towards the area of, I would say, engineering and computer science. So we have one which is economics management and computer science. This was requested by the market, I would say, by the company, to have some graduates which has, let's say, a management competence, but also more technical and more technical skills on computer science or mathematics. The new kid in the block is the mathematical and computing sciences for artificial intelligence, which was launched last September with the first intake. And the idea here is to teach economics, statistics, physics, mathematics, and use them to model the artificial intelligence. Very, very brand new and working on a trendy topic. Then we have the World Bachelor in Business. It's a 4-year degree. It's the only 4 years degree. It's a triple degree, the unique in the world at the bachelor level. You spend the first year in Los Angeles at the University of Southern California, the second year in Hong Kong at the University of Science and Technology, and the third year in Milano at Bocconi. The fourth year, you decide where to go, and you get 3 degrees, and access to 3 different job markets. This is a flagship program that we launched in 2013. And we have also Italian version of management, finance, and tax. We have also graduate programs. I'm not going through this because you are basically high school students, but to give you an idea, all the programs that we have, you see in politics, we have double degree agreements with Sciences Po and London School of Economics. We have all the disciplines that we run bachelor level, but more specialized. Something about how do we select the students. So we take into consideration basically the school reports, so the second to last and third to last year, so première and second. We don't take into consideration the terminal year. You have to graduate to get the diploma, but we don't take into consideration. The other important part is the test. It could be either the Bocconi test, which is available online, or some international recognized test, which is called SAT and ACT. Then, of course, there is a more qualitative part of the evaluation, and we look at the CV and the personal statement, and of course, the English language. You can choose up to 4 programs, and you can reapply in case you are not selected. Information on our test on our website, and you get an unconditional offer. So we don't wait for the final grades at the end of the last year. You just have to graduate. Reasons. Our sessions, we have 3 sessions. One is the early session, which is usually at the end of the premiere, so of the second to last year of a high school, and usually it's in June. This year we postpone it to September for this intake 2021. sorry, 2021, 2022. We postponed it to September, but it's already gone. For the ones of you who are in their last year, so you have only two chances now. One is the winter session, and the deadline is at the end of January, and the test will be in February. And the last one is the spring session, deadline at the early April. The early session and the winter session make most of the selection. So around 90% of the students are placed in the first two. The spring session is kind of residual. So if you are in your terminale and you haven't applied yet to Bocconi in the early session, you're interested in Bocconi, my suggestion is to apply by the winter session. And of course, you can reapply if you're not. If you are in your premier year, then you have three chances starting from June 2021. For the WPB World Relations in Business, the triple degree program I mentioned before, there is only one deadline, which was basically yesterday. And so for the ones of you who are in the terminal, there are no chances anymore. For the ones there is a chance next. Bocconi pricing. Our fees are 13,000 students for the bachelor per year and 14,000, sorry, euros, not students, per year, and 40,000 euros per year for the master. 3 years bachelor and 2 years master. I have to say this is a price which is higher than most of them, all I would say that the state universities in Italy, but it's a competitive price with our competitors in Europe. And I have to say that not all the students pay the full price. There is a very, very relevant percentage of students who don't pay the full price because they are given a scholarship. We have over this year, I think over 700 scholarships given to the students on the basis of their academic career, so merit-based. So we have a full tuition waiver, what we call the Bocconi Merit Awards, 50% reduction, what we call the International Awards, and then we have some specific awards, for example, awards for women in finance, related to our Master in Finance, to encourage more women to apply to finance. And then, of course, we have also need-based scholarships. So if you have, depending on your socio-economic condition, you can have a reduction in the full fee up to 5,000 euros for the bachelor, and also you can even pay nothing if the socio-economic condition of your family is not excellent in that state. Then we give lots of scholarships to the students who go abroad for study and work opportunities within the Erasmus framework, but also financed by we also have access to it's in downtown Milano. We have nonetheless we have 8 university residencies with 2,000 rooms, fully equipped, modern. The students decide either to stay in one of our residencies or to find a private apartment. Bocconi, which is in a village area of Milano, it's full of students, I would say, and there are lots of private apartments for students. I was mentioning our campus. It's a very lively campus. You see here we have very, very relevant guests, Mr. Starbucks, Schulz, the director, Madame Lagarde. To give you an example, last Saturday we had the opening of the academic year, 2021, and the guest speaker was von der Leyen, the president of the very important moment for our university. But this is the way it works at Bocconi. Every single day there is an event going on. This year, of course, more virtual than. The campus is very active. We have lots of student association. Bocconi is located in the middle of the city, 20 minutes walking. Lots of activity. We have built up last year a new part of campus with a new sports center, which will be open in the spring, and we will have only indoor Olympic swimming pool in Milano, fields, and tracks. So it's very It's a very nice campus. It's all together. It's not spread throughout the city. All the blocks are Bocconi's blocks, and also in the middle. Next event, just to finish my presentations, we have a virtual open day for high school students on 16th of January 2021, so a few days before the winter session, and where all our, well, the deans, the rector, but all the directors of the degree courses will be able to present their single courses and answer to the students' questions in the chat. The same applies for the graduate program. We also offer summer school for high schools and for university students every summer. All the details are there. We are already there with a new offer for the summer 2021. I think this is the end of my presentation. I think I've been in the 20 minutes. Arrivederci a Milano. So it is my message.
Thank you, Mario.
You're welcome.
Sorry, I broke you. Thank you, Mario. Your connection was a little bit unstable, so you were ashing a little bit, and in any case was understandable. And to the students and to you, there is the chat open, so if anyone have a question to Mario, to Giovanna, to anyone else, please feel free to use the chat once again. Ask whatever you want in terms of question, please.
Thank you so much.
Extremely good occasion. Thank you, Mario, again for the very detailed and interesting presentation of University Bocconi from Milan. Let's move then now to the next school, the University of Bologna. I'd like to introduce Clara Borghi and Federica Onofri. Thank you again. Federica, over to you.
Thank you. Thank you. Good evening to everybody. I'm sorry for my voice. I lost it. And I hope it's understandable, my presentation. And welcome again for the presentation of the University of Bologna. And we will try to show you our degree programs offer and the welcoming services and the opportunities reserved for incoming and international students to our university. Let's start first with a bit of history of the university. Well, the origins of our university goes way back, and it is considered the oldest university in the Western world. And its history is really intertwined with that of great names of literature and science. But it is still a point of reference for Europe, the European culture. And nonetheless, it is strongly rooted in the past. University of Bologna has always had really a great vocation towards the international world. And in fact, it has grown a lot, and it is now the structure of the University of Bologna is composed of more campuses. Besides the main campus in Bologna, in the Emilia-Romagna region, we also have the campuses in Cesena, Forlì, Ravenna, and Rimini. And we also have a campus in Buenos Aires, developing quite a bunch of programs, and also branches in New York and Brussels and Shanghai. And here you can see just a few pictures of our main campuses, sorry, went fast, in the Emilia-Romagna region. And actually this multi-campus structure is enabling us and ensuring the opportunity for more learning activities, and also it promotes a stable and wider research activities, not only throughout the region, but also in Italy and abroad. But what, besides, University of Bologna stands out, I'm sorry, it goes too fast, in many of the most recognized ranking worldwide. And here is a few list of the most important awards recently achieved. They're also part of a great number of international networks, also in the research area. But you know, for UniBo, the internationalization has always been, since the last decade, actually from the 90s, a strong pillar, and it has been really a cross-dimensional aspect in all the strategic objectives and activities developed. So it has started with the promotion of and the boosting of study exchanges abroad, first in Europe, and then we went overseas and all over the world, both promoting exchanges for incoming, but also and also outgoing students. And then we developed a great amount of double degree programs and also joint master degree programs. And around seven more of them are also labeled as Erasmus Mundus, so granting also a well-renowned label and also scholarships. And besides, since 2006, when we started with the first two completely taught in English international programs, we have now more than 70. So it has really developed a lot, the internationalization also in terms of programs and its content. And also the collaborations between enterprises to improve international placement and also international research opportunities has increased since the third mission. I mean, all the activities devoted to placement and research activities are increasingly working with international partners. As a population, we are in Italy, we are considered as the second largest university. In fact, we have more than 87,000 students, of which more than 6,000 international students enrolled in the first or second degree, coming from more than 130 countries. And we also boost, as I was saying, the mobility, both in terms of incoming international students, more than 3,000, and the same amount are our students going abroad within our international partnerships with other renowned universities in the world. So what kind of programs can you find at the University of Bologna, and how can you choose them? Our program catalog is quite wide. We have 232 degree programs, but for academic year 2021 and 22, we will have around 15 more. And of these, 93 are first cycle programs, I mean license or bachelor, so triennali of 3 years. 125 are second cycle, master degree program, and 14 are single cycles, meaning a combination of bachelor and master. And it's from 5 to 6 years of courses. And of these, 84 are considered and labeled within the Universitarie also website and the ministry as international programs. 68 of them are taught in English, and of which 20 giving double or multiple degrees and also labeled as Erasmus Mundus master joint programs. And 16 are taught in Italian, but giving a double and multiple degrees, and of these also at bachelor level. And then we also have a wide offer of post-laureate opportunities and programs, but I'm not going into details on this. And our programs are offered by our 32 departments and 11 schools. And mostly all these areas and subjects are covered. So it is a generalistic university, our University of Bologna, covering mostly all disciplines. And with regard to specifically the international degrees, I mean, the ones taught in English, we offer them in 14 disciplinary areas. So covering almost all of our disciplinary areas. And as undergraduate programs in international, so taught in English, we have quite a bunch of programs in the economics and social science area. And the new one also will be the social science program. And then we have in the pharmacy and biotechnology, the genomics and the pharmacy course, which is a single cycle degree. And of course, we also have the medicine and surgery program. And then we will have a little bit of focus on this program in the next slides. So these are our undergraduate programs in English. Obviously, within the 68 courses we have taught in English, the majority are at master level. And I'm not going to give details on that, but I will leave the floor to my colleague to let you know all the information to apply into our university and our services. So Clara.
Thank you very much. Thank you, Federica. So I will now cover some hints on how to apply for our programs. So the first very basic information is that the classes are going to start in September for next academic year 21-22. And admissions for academic year 2021-2022 are not open yet. Admissions to all programs will start from January, February next year. So I'm going to give you just some very general guidelines at the moment. But if you're interested, you need to go back to our website from January to have the detailed procedures and to actually apply. Okay, so the first step is choosing a program. As Federica mentioned, we have a very high number of programs. So what you have to do is getting into the catalog and using the filters you have on top, you have to choose the program location, depending on the campus where you want to study, the area, and the language in which you want to study, as we have programs in English and Italian. Once you have selected the program, you can open the degree program website. Every program has a specific detailed website where you can find a lot of information for prospective students, including statistics for graduate students, opportunities, and of course, a description of all the subjects and the study plan. And then every course website has a section for admission procedures. So once you decide to apply, you have to click there on the admission area, and you will find a step-by-step procedure with all the information on what you have to do in order to apply for the program. As Ms. Deon mentioned at the beginning, you find also the bando, the call for application, which is the main document where you have a description of all the rules and all the procedures that you have to comply with in order to compete for the admission in the program. Generally speaking, we have two different kinds of programs. There are programs with open access. This means that anyone can enter the program. You still have to take a test, but that's just to monitor your entry skills. If you score low in the entry test, you will have some additional learning requirements. That means that during the first year, you will have to comply with some additional coursework to cover the gap and to get better during the studies. But even though your test score is very low, you can still be admitted and you can start the program. And this kind of open access programs could be, for example, philosophy, law, Italian literature, but you will find, of course, the whole list on the UniBo website. Then we have restricted access degree programs. This means that there's a fixed number of seats available and students need to compete to be admitted to the program. The way students are selected varies according to the program. So for international bachelors in English, it's very common to require the SAT exam. The SAT, you probably all know, but it's the exam which is offered by College Board in different locations, so you can also take it from France. Another group of courses with restricted access is the one of courses with restricted access at national level. As it was mentioned in the first presentation, this is for courses which are related to specific professions: medicina, medicine, architecture, primary school teaching or health professions. In this case, the admission requirements are common for all Italian universities, and the test is the same everywhere. So in this case, the guidelines are not decided by the University of Bologna, but of course, you need to comply with the guidelines of the ministry, but in order to apply for the program. Many of you are studying in also Italian at high school, so I think it's important to mention that the admission to most of the Italian degree programs, it's based on the test which is called TOLC. The TOLC test is required for admission in restricted access degree programs such as all the engineering courses, all the science-based courses, and the economics courses in Italian language, and also classes of humanities. TOLC is a standard entry test which contains questions about logics, reading comprehensions, and also quizzes related to subjects depending on the kind of program you're applying for. It's a test which is used by many Italian universities. So by sitting the TOLC test, you can use the same test for applying to UniBo, but also for other Italian universities. And since 2020, the TOLC test is also offered online in the TOLC a casa way. So that means you can take it from home. Just a small focus now on one of our most popular programs for among the international programs, which is the Medicine and Surgery 6 years international program. As we mentioned before, that's a program regulated by the ministry. It's a national-wide entry test. The test is called the IMET test. And of course, it's the ministry who decides the date. So at the moment, we don't have the date yet for the admission to the next year. But if you're interested, you can monitor the website of the medicine program, check the results, check the needed scores for last year, check the IMET test for last year. And just to give you an idea, for the current year, the test was held in September. Some final information for non-European students. Next to applying for the admission to the program you like, you will also need to go through a procedure for the visa application. And if you're choosing a program which is in Italian language, you will need to meet an additional Italian language entry requirement by either sitting a test in the University of Bologna or presenting an international Italian language certification. Just one additional information, we do not require for any students, European or non-European, we don't require the declaration of value on the baccalaureate diploma or the IB diploma. Okay, next to applying for the admission in the program, you need to, if you want, you can also apply for financial aid. The University of Bologna is a public university, and the fees, the yearly fees for a bachelor degree can vary from 2,000 to 5,000 euros per year, depending on the kind of program you're applying for. But there are several opportunities to apply for financial aid, either depending on the income situation of your family or on the merit base. The first opportunity is applying for financial aid based on the economic situation of your family. This kind of aid is provided by ERGO, which is the regional agency for Emilia-Romagna. Something is happening to my slides. And so through ERGO, you can obtain a scholarship or a tuition fee reduction, and also have access to student dorms. But one very interesting opportunity that I would like to mention is this one, UniBo Action 1 and 2. This is a program which is just targeted at international students who have a foreign non-Italian high school diploma. Through this program, UniBo Action 1 and 2, you can apply for study grants of 11,000 euros per year and total tuition fee exemption. It's a program which is just based on merit, so it really takes the top students. And for the undergraduate applicants, the selection is based again on the SAT test. If you're interested in this opportunity, don't forget to check out the website, because we're going to publish the news about the new program very soon, by the beginning of January. So if you're interested, check out the details, and then you can take the SAT and participate in the competition. To conclude, I'd like to mention just very, very briefly some student services which are available in our university, but just a few of them. For example, the sport club, CUSP, CUSP offers both official university teams which play in official university tournaments, but also courses for amateurs who just want to practice sports and disciplines. And then the Language Center, where you can actually improve your Italian with free courses, but also take classes of other foreign languages, European and non-European languages. And finally, we have the study abroad opportunities, which are offered by the International Relations Department. We have already mentioned the Erasmus Plus program. Bologna, as we said, it's the top destination for incoming students, but has a very high number also of outgoing students. But there's also the overseas program, which enables you to apply for a period of studies in the US, Australia, or other overseas country. But you could also decide to go abroad, not for studying, but for an internship experience, or to prepare your dissertation, or eventually you can also decide to opt for one of the various double or multiple joint degree programs. That means, for example, for a bachelor, it could be taken 1 year or 2 in Bologna and the other one in the partner university. As you can imagine, this was a very, very, very brief presentation. But if you want any more detail, you can easily reach us by writing at international desk, calling, or we also have Zoom meetings. So just drop in and speak with us. And also, if you have questions now, feel free to add them in the chat and we will be here to answer. Thank you.
Thank you, Clara. Thank you, Federica, for this really insightful and clear presentation. Really appreciated.
Thank you.
And yes, as mentioned by Clara, students, please use the chat to ask questions. At the same time, the speakers which have spoken already, give a check if there is any unanswered question. So go through that, go through the chat, and please answer to the question which maybe you have not seen or which have escaped to you. So a warm welcome. We were speaking about the snow before, so a warm welcome is very appreciated, I guess, to the last but not least university, the University of Trento. I have the pleasure to introduce Chiara Lombardo and Roberto Napoli. Good evening. Up to you now. Thank you.
Good evening. Roberto, I leave you the floor for the first
yes,
if you're there.
To share my screen. Can you see my presentation?
Yes, perfect.
Okay, so good evening to everyone. It's a real pleasure to be here, but it would have been much nicer to be in person. I miss friends so much, so it would have been very, very nice, but maybe next year. We are introducing you to the University of Trento. It's me, Roberto Napoli, and my dear colleague, Chiara Lombardo. We will give you some information, but mostly we will try to tell you, to give you good reasons to choose Trento. Well, let's start with location. The location of Trento, as you can see, it's in the north of Italy, pretty close to Austria, to Germany, to Switzerland. It's about 2 hours train from Milan, so the big industrial area. Trento is a rather small city. It has about 100,000 inhabitants. And also the university is rather small, and we like that. As you can see here, on the left-hand side, we have about 17,000 students, which makes us a well, mid-sized university. And this has some consequences. The first is that you will have a very close contact with professors, with administration people. So in case of any issues, any problems, you will immediately identify the right person to talk to, and hopefully your problems will be solved very soon. We also have a very strong international community, and we like that, of course. We have around 8%, a little bit more than 8% of our students are international, but consider that they are concentrated in our bachelor's and master's taught in English. So you can easily find some 30 to 40% of international students in international classes. On the right-hand side of this slide, you can see our units. We have 11 departments and 3 centers, and coming soon is the School of Medicine. It has been inaugurated last week with the course of medicine. It's not yet open for international students. It will be open in the next year. So for this year and for next year, it's not possible to apply. We have a number of degrees in the different levels. The ones that are of most interest to you are the ones in the first level. So the laurea, we have 22 degrees in Italian language. So you're welcome to attend those courses if you speak Italian, or we have 2 bachelor courses completely held in English language. This is the list. Sorry, it's a little bit boring, but it's a list of our departments. We have cellular, computational, and integrative biology. We have different kinds of engineering, and consider that in all those departments, you'll find many different bachelor's degrees. Most of them, I repeat, they are in Italian language, but you can have some of them also in English. Economics and management, humanities, again, engineering, law, mathematics, physics, psychology and cognitive science, sociology and social research. We also have 3 centers. They are a little bit smaller departments. We have agricultural, food, environment. We have mind and brain sciences, and we have the School of International Studies. Of course, if you want to access those departments, you need to have the appropriate information. So I give the floor to my dear colleague, Chiara Lombardo.
Thank you, Roberto. Yes, the admission to bachelor courses is regulated by an admission test, which will be online for this ongoing and upcoming academic year. There will be a first session in March and a second one in July. The general requirements are, of course, as Madame Deon told before, a high school diploma after at least 12 years of schooling. But if you have an Italian baccalaureate, of course, you will have no need to exhibit the declaration of honor. A general level of B1 in Italian language is needed, which means upper intermediate level. And English is needed only for the bachelor degree course in comparative European and international legal studies chains. The admission test will consist of a general part on general culture from an international perspective, and on a more specific part according to the area. there will be some open days, online open days in January, February, and March. And at the end of the presentation, we will give you the link to the enrollment, to the registration of the open days, where experts will give you some practical information about the different departments and study courses and the admission course. Talking about, we can change the slide, talking about the tuition fees. Generally speaking, the full amount of yearly tuition fees is around 2,300 400 euros to be paid in 3 installments. But of course, you can get a partial or a total waiving of the fees according to the economic condition of your household. But let's say that the maximum amount is this amount. The accommodation is in a beautiful student housing in the middle of green with 3 gyms and football field, basketball court. There is a theater hall, a reception 24 hours, and you have right to get your own single room or double room, if you prefer, for the whole duration of your study course. Since you are an international student and the University of Trento focuses a lot its policy on international guests. So the housing is granted for the whole length of the study course in this beautiful students' housing, where you have also a cafe inside, and all rooms have a balcony and a lot of space around, green space around. 10 minutes by bus, 5 minutes by bus, or 20 minutes on foot from the city center. So quite practical. Or you can borrow a bike, loan a bike, and this will be easier and faster to get downtown. But Trento is a very small town. You don't have to imagine a big town. So everything is reachable on foot or by bus within 15 minutes, or by bike if you are a sports student. Meals are of different types. You can see that for quite a cheap fee, you can get a snack, so a quick meal, or if you want to make a traditional meal with the first main course, second course, or also pizza, you can have for more or less 5 euros. There are 4 canteens, both uphill and downtown, since the University of Trento develops in 3 big areas. There is downtown Trento, where the humanistic departments are, and while the scientific, mathematics, computer science likes to be up in the hill, but all the services are both downtown and uphill, of course. And then where Roberto lives, in Rovereto, there is the cognitive science department. Well, I think I have, yes, in case you want a fee waiver, we can change the slide. There is Opera Universitaria, who is I don't know how to explain, it's an institution that helps students in benefits and services, and by proving your economic condition, you can apply for tuition waiver, fee waiver, and pay less than the amount that I have told you. But it's quite a long procedure, as everything in the university world, of course. So there is no time now to explain you which documents you have to exhibit. But of course, in our presentation, there are all the direct links where you can find the complete information. Okay, Roberto, I think I have finished my first part. I give you the floor.
Okay. Yes. Okay, let me go on with the second part of our presentation. Here we have the rankings of the University of Trento. The University of Trento is widely recognized as a good top university, at least in Italy, and widely recognized also in Europe. But there are many good universities in Italy, in France, in any other countries. So you need to make a very important decision, which is selecting your university where you will be staying for 3 or 5 or more years. So that's an important turning point of your life. So it's an important choice. And this is why we wanted to give you some good reasons to come to Trento. First of all, we have applied education, which is combined with more traditional education. What does it mean? It means that you, if you want, you can choose to be involved in some activities which are non-traditional activities. I mentioned one example here, the Innovation Olympics, where you develop innovation for real companies. So companies come into the university, they present one of their challenges that they face on the market, and they ask for your help. You will be divided into groups of 5 students, and you compete with other groups of students. And in the end, the best solution delivered to the company wins this Olympics. You will work for 3 months with the company on top of all your student activities, okay? So this is something which is extracurricular. And my suggestion is that you take all those chances that you will have at the University of Trento. So one thing is approaching the university with the typical or let's say traditional approach, just study and have good marks. This is one possible approach. The other good approach, which I suggest you to take from the very beginning on, is the one of looking for extra opportunities, okay? So my message here is that if you choose the University of Trento, you will have a number of these opportunities. One is the Innovation Olympics or similar programs that we have. Another one is a complete project for innovative education. The University of Trento is the only Italian university represented in the ECIU, the European Consortium of Innovative Universities. We are very proud of that. And we are developing all together a new sense of education, a new paradigm. Well, this is our ambition. We are still in the beginning, of course. But it's a wonderful project. And the good thing about that is that students are heavily involved, because any further steps in innovating education involve students in new activities. We ask students to suggest us new activities. We interact very frequently with our students. And this is possible, especially because we are small. Because as I said, we can manage one-to-one relations with students. We can get feedbacks. We have something that we call class feedback. Regularly, we enter in class and ask students for feedback. How can we do things better? How can we innovate our teaching and research activities? This is something which is very nice, and students appreciate that very much. It's called Improvisation Theater. It's a program that is elective. You just enter if you want. Nobody will force you to enter this, but it's a lot of fun on top of being also very useful, because we play a little bit with the idea of being managers, being employees in companies. And the rationale is that you'd rather prepare yourself for the job market before entering the job market. So when you are still in the university, and we try to give you an idea, flavor of what you will be finding after graduation. We do it with improvisation theater, for example. So let me explain you very, very briefly just the central picture. As you see, well, the goal here, the mandate by the professor is to avoid free places. So if there is a free spot in the room, you have to run to that spot to occupy that spot. Okay, this is what the guy with the pink T-shirt is doing. Okay, but you have to consider that if he moves to the empty spot, he leaves an empty spot. So somebody else has to understand this and to react. Okay, by moving in the new empty spot. And this is to teach students in a very funny way that any action that you take when you work, but in real life as well, implies an action by somebody else. Okay, so any action that you do not do it in the void, but it's you are within a very complex system. And this is very useful to students who sometimes overlook the complexity of the system and think that they are alone. Your action is important and it affects action of anybody else. Okay. So through this kind of games, we try to convey some good messages to our students, and typically students are very happy about that. We also have business theater, but since our time is over, it's also very funny. Companies are involved, and we have many more activities. But maybe it's more important to focus on our international activities. And this is why I give the floor again to Chiara.
Yes, thank you, Roberto. When I was a student at the University of Trento, proud to be a graduate of University of Trento, in the 90s, late 90s, there were only few opportunities of going abroad. Just the Erasmus for study reason was active, and I had the chance to go to Grenoble for 1 year, but this was really the only chance to go abroad. Nowadays, Trento has grown up so much, and also the international opportunities. I would define the University of Trento as a diving board. I don't know if you know what I mean, a trampolino in Italian. So once you are enrolled in this medium-sized university, you can really reach the world, both if you decided to travel and to make mobilities, but even if you decided not to move from Trento, you will enjoy the internationalization at home. This word is really difficult for me. And it's a paradox since I work at the international office, but the international dimension within the University of Trento, this is an added value which I really think is worthwhile enrolling at the University. If you feel like moving and going abroad, you will have the chance to make a double degree or an Erasmus for study, or to go abroad outside Europe within a bilateral agreement, Japan, Canada, Australia, just to mention some of them. Double degrees we have with all Europe, also with France. We have Nantes, Franche-Comté, Strasbourg, Le Groupe des Grandes Écoles, but I don't think you are interested really in double degrees with France, but just to tell you that in case you are not really sure to leave France forever for a whole degree course, you have the chance to make half of your study course in Italy and half in your home university. There is also the chance to make independent research for your final thesis, both at bachelor and master's level, in one of the countries and the universities at your choice, and the same for the internship. You can choose any company, any research center, any non-governmental institution, organization, and the University of Trento will support your mobility with a scholarship. All these outgoing mobilities are supported by a scholarship, which of course does not cover all the expenses you will face once you are abroad, but it's a good contribution. Just to give you an idea, for double degree in a non-European country, 5,000 euros per year are granted for our students. While, for example, for internship, 400, 500 euros per month. So it's a contribution, it's a valid contribution for supporting your mobility. During the lockdown period, the University of Trento, as many other Italian universities, had to rethink about the services for students. So most of our students in the first semester were virtual students. Well, I mean real students, but in a virtual mobility. So we had to rethink all our services, from the language courses, which were held online, to some extracurricular activity, which are more social-cultural, because we wanted that the students felt already in a community. So, for example, every Friday we have an aperitif, an online aperitif, and you are also welcome to join. Why not? It's open to all students. So I will be happy to have you there for the aperitif at 4 p.m. There is one of our collaborators that is a moderator. It's a peer-to-peer exchange of experiences around a theme. Last Friday, we talked about the present giving, so the habit of exchanging presents, and the meaning of the gifts. But also hand gestures. As you can see, I move a lot my hands, so and Italian do in particular, and you will enjoy the company of the students from all around the world. Vietnam, India, Africa, all countries of Africa, and really Iran, a lot of other, and European. Well, I think I'm over with my part. Of course, in our presentation, there will be some slides with the links to the details of what I have just
Yes, we have some backup slides in the end, and we will share this presentation. So thank you very much, Chiara, for that, and thank you for inviting us to this wonderful event, and thank you to all students that attended so late in the night.
Thank you, Chiara and Roberto, for this full of passion and a visionary presentation. Thank you so much. There are still a couple of questions maybe in the chat, so if you want to take a look.
Sure.
We are very close to the end of the presentation and the meeting for today. So once again, thank you to all the university for the insightful presentations. Thank you to the students for the attention and the interesting question which were put into the slide, sorry, into the chat. The contact of the university were available in the last slide of the presentation. We are going to collect as well the presentation and the dispatch. We will see the best way to do that. At the same time, all the evening, so yesterday, this evening, and the next 2 evenings are recorded, and we are probably publishing this in a YouTube channel of the French Embassy. and definitely we will mirror in other websites more local to you. Once again, thank you so much for your attendance, and for the people which will come tomorrow evening, and even better, you are all invited for tomorrow evening, another exciting one. So thank you again. See you tomorrow. Bye.
Bye bye.
Bye.
Ciao, ciao.
Thank you. Bye bye.
Buona serata.
Buona
Buona
serata.
cena.
Bonne soirée.
Bonne soirée.